Hi, welcome everyone to my channel. And we all know that our board exams are around the corner. So a very best of luck to all of you for your board exams. And today's video, I'll be talking a little more about how to be more confident or how to get more marks for your board exams. Obviously, other than studying, there is no other way to get good marks. But yes, that studying should be done in a proper way, in a proper channel. Channelizing everything always fetches better results. So let's see that how do we need to channelize the way we study, or what we study, or how do we study, so that in minimal effort or minimal amount of time dedicated, we can score as much as possible. So the first thing we'll think about that how do we need to prepare ourselves mentally, physically, as well as with the syllabus to get ready for the board exams. See, for the board exams, the first thing is that we should be physically fit. This is the very basic thing of any examination or before any examination that we should keep in mind. So try to avoid having any food from outside. Stay at home, have homemade food, and avoid to get yourself into any kind of sickness or illness. Then when you're fit enough, fine enough, and healthy enough, we can start with our preparations. So first, let's see how should we start with the preparation. May it be any chapter, any subject, whichever you take, the first thing or how should you start about with your chapter or that particular subject. The first thing that you should do, that you should be reading the chapter and analyzing the important points. See, reading the chapter, if you don't have the idea about the chapter, it is really very difficult to understand what is there in the chapter. So reading the chapter is the first basic need before preparing. So read the chapter. Yes, read the whole chapter, and while reading, start underlining the important points which you feel has some kind of information which can be converted into a question. It can be a 1 marker, a 2 marker, a 3 marker, or a 4 or a 5 marker. So based on the information given, keep on underlining the things, because next time when you're preparing the notes for the chapter, those underlined ones are the important ones that you already know. And even NCERT books has one more thing, that is the bold letters. So whichever term, whichever particular definition or particular topic has been in bold, obviously put stress on those things, because out of the whole chapter, those things are important. But remember, even the ones which are not in bold, they are important. Like some of the processes or some kind of mechanism, some kind of experiment, the full thing might not be in bold, but we have to learn the thing. So reading the chapter is very important. Then we get to know actually which particular places or which particular areas we have to remember. Which is a new term? What is the definition of the new term? What is the meaning of the new term? Where is that term located, or what is the significance of that term? So everything comes into being. So any particular new term in a bold letter or without a bold letter should be remembered, along with the spelling and why is it important. Mostly there is some reason for that new term which has been placed or which has been put into the chapter. So first read the chapter and analyze the important points. The important points can be the bold ones or the bold marked ones, or even throughout the paragraph where some information is there, from where you can get a 1 marker or a 2 marker questions also. But if it is a procedure, a mechanism, a process going on, it can be a 3 or a 4 markers also. So whichever sentences you find there is some kind of information in it, always keep on underlining that. So next, when you're preparing the notes for it, it becomes easy for you to know the important points from the chapter. Second is the important points are the bold words in NCERT. It is mostly the bold words, but what I told you, even the ones which are not bold, even they may be important. So at least once or twice reading is very important for the chapter. Make bullet points for the whole chapter. Bullet points for the whole chapter is very, very necessary, because before the exams, when you have to prepare yourself within 2 days or 3 days of time, at least nearly about 15 to 20 chapters, it becomes a very huge task. So going through the chapter, understanding them, it is not possible anymore. So we should always have a handy bullet point notes, which has all the information, but in a very, very concise form. It has only the important information, because in the chapter we have many such things which need not or which can be omitted from the examination point of view. But obviously for your learning purposes, those are important, but we can omit it for the examination point of view. So keeping that in mind, so we must all make the bullet points for the whole chapter. Mind it for the whole chapter from the start to the end, and we should give always the importance to the bold ones. Watch the videos for the class 10 NCERT biology. In my channel, we have the videos for all the biology chapters from class 10 NCERT CBSE biology. You can go through those videos. You will have the idea about the full chapter. You can get a full analysis of the chapter. Not only that, you have the idea, you will understand, and after every video I have done a question answer MCQ series for all of the chapters, which will help you to get to know what kind of questions generally come. Because MCQs in these board exams are very important. MCQs are the ones which will be starting, and it will be around 10 to 15 marks. So if you get all of them correct, obviously you are ahead of others. So MCQs for your board exams are very important. They are 1 marker and they are very scoring, because out of that 4 options you have the correct option. You just have to know that. So watch the videos, and always also the MCQs or the multiple choice questions which are done after each of them should also be seen properly, because I have covered it throughout the chapter. It has been dealt throughout the chapter, so you'll have a overall overview of the MCQs of the particular chapter throughout. Practice the diagrams. This is also very important, because many times nowadays what they are doing, they might give you the diagram and they might put 1, 2, 3, 4 where you have to name them, or we have to name that particular organ or that particular thing. So you have to label the diagrams. See, you might not have to draw it, but you have to label it. If you don't practice the drawing and the labeling, you cannot do that on the examination day. Because we always tend to leave the diagrams for the last time. That because it will stay fresh in our mind, let us do it at the last, or let us do it before the examination day. That is a very huge mistake, because in biology, every chapter will have diagrams, and every diagram will have new terms. So always you tend to forget. The diagrams should be practiced at least 2, 3 or 4 times before you sit for the exams. So if you think of practicing them before your exams, it is just not done, because you won't have that much time to practice the diagrams from all the chapters, and that too 2 to 3 times. So prepare or start preparing or start doing or practicing the diagrams before. You might forget, but okay, before the exams you can have a quick practice of that. but you have to practice, because if you have practiced and kept, obviously 60 to 70% stays in your brain. You might forget that 30%, but before the examination, if you want to do, the total 100% has to go into it, which becomes very difficult because already you are under the exam pressure for the next day. So try not to keep the diagrams for the last. Keep on practicing when you're doing with the chapter. Solve the PYQs. This is very, very important. See, reading, understanding the chapter, making points is all okay. But the final thing is answering the questions. Because it is, we have to sit, or we have to exams, we have to answer the questions. We don't have to write the bullet points for the chapter, or we don't have to tell that we know the chapter. And we have to understand, or we have to write the answers to the questions. So practice that. Then only we'll understand where we stand or how much is our preparation. Because based on the questions, you will be able to judge yourself where you are lacking, which part you're not able to remember properly, which part you are confusing. Because without practicing questions, it is just not possible to get good marks or think of getting good marks. So PYQs, or previous year questions, are mandatory. You'll get innumerable number of books having the previous year questions along with the solutions also. So get one of them and practice them religiously. Religiously means religiously. Don't open up the book or look into it while answering the questions. Take the time and start answering it as exactly you will do for the examinations. And of course, make it time bound. Don't keep it like writing for hours together, because then you will not have the speed for the writing. So always make it time bound, exactly like how you will be answering your examination or your board exam. Same time, and just sit without any disturbance. Continuously you give the paper and then you analyze yourself. Solve each of the NCERT exercises. See, we all know that CBSE has always told that NCERT is the basic, or NCERT is the book for CBSE. So CBSE wants NCERT to be followed always. So it is always better to follow NCERT and solve as many questions as possible. As many questions possible, but yes, obviously keep the time in mind. More the questions we solve, more we'll come to know where do we stand or how much well prepared are we with the chapter. So how should we actually frame our time or divide our time? So for the chapter, read the chapter and write down the important points. We'll give it 2 to 3 hours for each of the chapter, based on the chapter difficulty level, based on the chapter complexity level, based on the length of the chapter, information in the chapter. We'll give around 2 to 3 hours so that we can read the chapter as well as prepare the notes for it or write in the bullet points. The bold words will help you to make the bullet points. Obviously the bold words is very helpful, which will help to make the bullet points. But I told you, even the words which are not in bold also should be taken care of, because they also have many informations. Practice diagrams, that should be done around for half an hour for around 3 to 4 days. If you do it every day, practice the diagrams, it will be there. Watch the videos for class 10 NCERT CBSE biology whenever you have free time, whenever you are relaxing. Try to watch the videos so that you get the concept. After that, you go and read the chapter, so you'll get to know exactly what the chapter talks about, and the things will be very clear for you. Practice the PYQs and NCERT exemplars. See, NCERT exercises, NCERT exemplars and the PYQs are a mandate for preparing yourself. And time and again, everyone tells that PYQs, NCERT questions are mandatory, because CBSE follows NCERT and PYQs. So it is, if you have done that, you can know that where you stand and what is your preparation. So try to do that for every chapter. When you're okay with all the chapters, then go for the previous year questions, because you will be having questions from throughout the syllabus. And finally, solve some random questions. Take some guidebook or something for each chapter, get some questions, but you don't have to, you just see the questions and you tell whether you're able to do or whether you know the answer to it. If you don't know, mark the questions and keep it. But these are all mandatory, that it gives you a proper insight of the chapter. So preparation is complete when, after you prepared your notes, you have solved the PYQs and the model questions, and you have practiced the diagrams. So that makes your particular chapter complete. If you have done that for all the chapters and solved the PYQs for last 10 years, then it gets you a particular exercise is complete, or a particular subject is complete. Maybe biology, physics, chemistry or maths or any other subject. So once you have done all these three, it gives you the complete preparation, maybe of a particular chapter or a particular subject. Then what to study, what you should be studying. I told you repeatedly, first should be the NCERT. NCERT should be given the 100 and 110% importance. So first NCERT, followed by the question banks, so that they will help you to understand what type of questions can come. The question banks can be any question banks you can take, and finally the last 10-year question series or the PYQs. So this will give you a lot more understanding of where you stand, lot more understanding of what type of questions comes and where you are lacking. So finally, we'll tell, where do you stand? How will you know where do you stand? You have to analyze yourself. How will you analyze yourself? So after giving or writing the exam, I told you that you should be doing it exactly as you will be doing it in the kind for exam. So it should be 3 hours complete paper, and you should be trying to complete the paper as you are doing it for your board exams. So after doing that, you try to check the answers, maybe through any teacher, or you yourself can check the answers. If your score is above 80%, your preparation is good enough, and you should be at least studying 4 to 5 hours a day, so that your preparation is excellent, so that your preparation is totally complete. If you're getting above 80, if you're getting between 60 to 80, you have learned, you have understood the ideas, but still you need practice. Practice as in solving more questions, because that will make you perfect. So at least 6 to 8 hours of study will make you like that of above 80%. And then comes between 60 to 40 to 60. If you're between 40 to 60, you can understand you need a lot more dedication, a lot more time, a lot more effort to study in order to upgrade to the next level. You should be at least spending 10 to 12 hours of studying per day. May it be the chapters, may it be of solving questions, whatever, whichever helps you. But when you're getting around 640 to 60, you should understand that the chapter is still not clear with you. It is still many things are there which you don't know or which you could not remember. Try out ways and methods to remember those things. May it be particular terms, may it be some spellings, may it be some kind of mechanisms, some procedure, but you have to try out so that you can remember those, because it is because of that you are losing your marks. And remember, what you are getting when you're writing at home, it will be still more tougher when you're writing or sitting in the school or writing the exam, because there will be a different kind of environment. There will be exam pressure over there, externals roaming around. So always keep around that what you have scored at home, around 10% less when you go for the school board exams. And if you're below 40%, you have to still buck up and work really, really hard. Around 12 to 14 hours a day you have to spend studying. Obviously, you can also come up to this level, but yes, you have to put on a lot of hard work, dedication, and yes, you have to do it very efficiently and proper time management. So this way you can analyze yourself as to where you stand for the exam or the board exam. So finally, what all things we should keep in mind when we are preparing ourselves? Make class notes proper. The class notes, if they have given you from the school, it should be properly written and it should be always kept handy, because that will be always useful whenever you are stuck somewhere or you don't remember something. Next, make a flowcharts for the processes. See, flowcharts always sometimes so happen. If you try to remember it as a paragraph, just mugging up, it might help you, or it might sometimes make you confused. You might not remember the things. Just try to make a flowchart of it. If it is for digestion, like where it starts in the mouth and what all comes. Okay, it starts in the mouth, that is the salivary gland with salivary amylase, and that helps in the digestion of the amylase. Then the food moves through the food pipe and goes to the stomach. In stomach, what all juices are secreted and what all is happening in the stomach. After that, it moves to the large intestine. In the large intestine, and along with, there are some secretions from the pancreas, from the liver. Those mix up and help in the digestion. So we should know the proper sequence of how the process is going on. So for that, a flowchart will always be very handy, because during the exams also, if you're running short of time, instead of writing the full paragraph, if you write the flowchart with all the names there proper, you are sure to get marks for it, because they know that you know it. Due to crunch of time, you're not able to write it, but yes, you will get some marks. So always practice any processes, experiment in form of a flowchart, which will help you at or during the exam, even to remember or even to write it very fast for your boards. Practice easy and properly labeled diagrams. See, for science, diagrams are required, but only scientific diagrams. It is not that you have to be very artistic and to do a beautiful diagram. No, you can do a very simple diagram, but the labeling should be proper and correct. You'll get full marks out of it. So try to practice an easy diagram with proper labeling, which will help you to fetch good marks and also lessen the amount of time spent for drawing the diagram. For each chapter, prepare one sheet only for the formula, equations, examples. For each chapter, other than your bullet point notes, you should have one sheet where you have all the formulas, maybe in chemistry, where you have all the equations, or you have all the examples. Any particular thing, any particular definition, example of that. So you should have them handy, because these are very scoring areas, because these are the things that come for your either for your MCQs or for your 1 marker, 2 markers. So those should be kept handy, or those can be, so that you can revise it at the very end at very fast. Solve last 10 years board papers and sample papers. Try to solve as many questions as possible, and obviously the board papers, they are very, very important. Very important from the exam point of view, and make a note of wrong and unattempted questions. Where you are going wrong, where you are making mistakes, should also be taken care of, because there is the ones where you are losing your marks. So there, if you make it correct, it will help you to increase your marks. So these all should be taken care of. Then I guarantee that your marks will improve. It has to improve, because this is totally based, and this is totally scientific. If you follow this, marks are going to improve. So that's it for today. If you have liked my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any queries regarding your exams or regarding your board exams, any chapters, please put in the comments box. I'll surely come back to you. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and best of luck for your exams. I'll be coming up some more with this kind of videos for you, so that it helps you to prepare yourself well for the board exams. Best of luck. Thank you.